Bushnell. Performance is the only thing. Savage Arms. Better comes standard. Federal Premium Ammunition. Surgical precision. Terminal results.
This week, Dean and I are returning to Texas to hunt with our good friend Gerry Garcia. We're going to be heading to their family ranch as Dean will be pursuing black buck and I'm going after collared peccary, also known as javelina. So let's head down to the Lone Star State and go hunting.
Well, here we are. It's literally our first morning in Texas. We're going to be heading after black buck, and I'm really excited about this. I mean, Kent and I have dreamt about this hunt for about the last year. We're going to be blind hunting. We've got a good shooting lane that's heading down the one direction here. So I'm going to climb in and enjoy some Texas weather when it's -12 back at home. Well, that's really cool. Kent and I literally in the middle of getting set up, and all of a sudden we looked down and there was 2 white-tailed does at the far end. Oh, something else just came out on the road. That's elk. Oh, there's a big bull. That's cool. Well, this is pretty incredible because, I mean, seriously, we've only been in the blind for maybe 10 minutes at best. And with the deer is unbelievable. We had a group of deer move way in behind. We just had a group of 4 more come out. But the one thing Kent and I are kind of snickering about, because we just literally, with it being January, only a couple months ago, we were hunting deer in the prairies, and like their does here are the size of our fawns. It's that temperature difference, right? The colder, the bigger the animals. It's really warm down here, smaller the animals, but they are a beautiful looking animal here, really sleek looking fur on them. It's pretty cool, but I'm gonna get back to some hunting here. Okay, well, that's a really good sign. We're just sitting here actually talking about the does that were out there, and all of a sudden 2 female black buck just came from the left-hand side. Now, I'm not 100% experienced on hunting black buck. We've hunted them before, but I'm not sure if the males hang out with the does at this time of year, but we're just gonna keep our eyes peeled, and hopefully one of those bucks comes out. Well, we just had a beautiful male walkout, and I'm gonna settle in and put a good shot on it. Well, right now I don't have any shot. He unfortunately walked right behind the females. I can see him clear, but I'm just gonna have to be a little bit patient here. have literally been sitting here for probably a good 5 minutes, and the problem I have is that he's either facing directly away or directly at me, so it's not really an ethical shot. But on top of that, the females are either in front of him directly or behind him directly. And I mean, I'm just gonna be patient. I gotta wait for the right shot. I want to make sure I only kill one black buck, not 3.
This segment is brought to you by Safari Club International Canada. First for hunters.
I'm sorry I'm laughing, but I'm serious. I sat here for probably 10 minutes waiting for that black buck either to give me an ethical side shot or to not have the females around him. And then finally he just turned and cut out a little bit, gave me a bit of a quartering away shot, and the 270, boy, I'll tell you, this Model 110 270 is probably one of Kent's of my most favorite guns. Deadly, deadly accurate. I had, a small window to feather that shot, and that buck went straight down. And I got my Texas black buck. Thanks, bud. Oh, that was exciting. Longest wait, but exciting. Well, black buck is down, so let's go have a look at my first ever Texas black buck. Well, there's not going to be a whole lot of tracking. That black buck went straight to the ground. It was a little bit of a strong quartering shot, so yeah, it is what it is. I mean, when you're waiting 10 minutes, when you have the opportunity present itself, you take it. So I'm really excited to see this buck, though. He was absolutely stunning. Definitely had lots of time to check him out. But what a great day here in Texas. Well, folks, what an absolutely incredible way to bring in 2020 for me. I mean, we literally arrived to Texas yesterday, and we got out into the blind this morning. Saw a ton of animals, which was absolutely incredible to see. And then all of a sudden, like I said, my good old buddy there, Kent, he spotted this nice black buck coming in. And, it tested my patience. It was a lot of fun watching it for that long. Most of the time, especially, when we're hunting other species, it's like they're there and you got to get on them right away. Whereas we got to really keep eyes on this black buck and watch him moving around with the 2 females. And I finally laid a really nice shot on them, and I couldn't be happier. And the one thing I gotta say with these black buck, they are probably one of the prettiest animals that we've ever hunted. Just the color transition from the chestnut browns to the whites to the black, beautiful big spiral horns on them. Just an incredible animal to hunt, and they are absolutely amazing eating as well. I haven't tried a Texas one, but we have eaten some down in Argentina. So with that, that's a wrap for my Texas black buck hunt. Hey boys.
Hey.
Well, you weren't kidding, it wasn't going to take long.
Did not kid on that.
Thank you guys, this is awesome, but I guess we should probably get loaded up.
Yep. Yes, sir.
I mean, by Texas standard, it's not hot, but by Canadian standard, she's pretty warm out here.
Pretty warm?
Yeah, pretty warm.
Well, we've got 4 shooting lanes from this blind. If the javelina come out, they should be within, well, we can see out to almost 300 yards on each shooting lane, but the best spots for getting them will be within 150 yards down either one of these lanes. So it's pretty good blind set up here in this South Texas brush country. We've got strong winds today, so the blind might creak and shake a little bit, but pretty excited about this. Never shot a javelina before, so this will be a first for me.
Taxidermy services provided by Hunters Union and Ray Wiens Taxidermy. And thanks to these other fine sponsors.
Well, I'm just checking all the different shooting lanes and what's the most comfortable position to shoot from. It's good to do that prior to any game coming out, because if you find that, especially when you're at a new location like a new blind site that you're not familiar with, if all of a sudden there's a partition in the wall that's not where you want it to be, you should be more familiar with what position you want to be in when game come out. So I'm just testing all the shooting lanes, making sure I can move around easily enough.
You know, Kent, it's funny, I'm just sitting here thinking yesterday when we went into the store to buy our Texas licenses to hunt javelina, as you and I both know, in a couple months we're going to get an email where we can do our mandatory reporting. So even way up in Canada, you know, they're getting the information of what happened down on this hunt.
I know. I mean, it's part of us as sportsmen can help the biologists and the wildlife managers out, and it's called citizen science, and I think it's a great topic for Lethbridge College.
I agree.
One of the things that we are starting to see a lot more of these days is the term citizen science. And citizen science is taking on a much larger role in species data collection and management.
As many of you may or may not know, I sat on COSAWIC, or the Species at Risk file, for about 6 years as a biologist, and I can honestly tell you that some of the most valuable information for distribution of species at risk came from citizen science. And it's not even just hunters, it's just any citizen that is out there, and especially with things like songbirds, I know like badgers in Western Canada, we heavily rely on citizen science for helping us know where the distribution of species at risk are.
Now, hunting tends to be a fairly personal thing where sharing information may be a little bit more sensitive, particularly when it comes to your favorite location. So how can we get around that? And one way that's quite simple is just keeping a journal or a hunting log. So this way, every year you can write down how many days you were out hunting, how many days or how many animals that you saw, what was the general conditions like at that time, and over time you can start to build a bit of a data set that's fairly unbiased.
We all get those surveys at the end of the hunting season. They're sent to us by the government agencies on what we've harvested, what we saw, how many days we were hunting in the field. Those surveys are crucial for wildlife managers and wildlife biologists to help set regulations on all the species we love to hunt and those that we don't. Without hunter participation and or citizen science, this mechanism would break down. We need everybody to participate.
Over time, if you're able to work with your local fish and game club and keep a community set, This is all data that could be used to help wildlife managers. So when you go to them and say, hey, deer populations aren't doing so well in this area, and there hasn't been a major survey done in that area to corroborate that, if you have a data set, at least that way it's something that can be used as an unbiased sample.
So understanding there's citizen science and biological science, the two are very different, but however they can complement each other. But we need to understand the limitations. For instance, biological science is heavily scrutinied. It has a methodology attached to it, whereas citizen science is something that is much different. I mean, it's based on observations of hunters, it's based on collecting information from hunters, from things like compulsory inspections, LEHs, things like that. So we have to make sure that even as biologists, when we're using citizen science, we understand there's limitations there.
Well, we just had a couple does come out on the trail here. We were looking at some quail down on the road, and next thing you know, 2 does stepped out. So they're still probably 200, 220 yards from us, but they'll probably work their way by. It's always nice to see whitetail.
This segment is brought to you by King's Camo. See the difference. Now, back to Bushnell's Trigger Effect.
Well, it's been pretty slow for the last couple hours. We had a doe and a yearling come out. We saw some birds. We had some road runners go by, but I think the reason they call them road runners is they don't like to run on the roads, because they just, we haven't been able to get any footage of them, I don't think. So, well, all we can do here is sit and wait. The one good thing is it's not minus 40 like back in Canada, so just keep playing my game. Hope the javelina show up. Well, that's pretty cool. We just had our first javelina come out. He's out about 200 plus yards. It looks like a big male. He's really dark in color, got the distinct white collar. Hopefully he'll work his way down this track for us and present a shot. It looks like he's coming this way, so that's pretty cool. ...244 yards from the blind. But that javelina should work its way this way. Well, this blind is pretty steady for a good shot. We're just waiting for that javelina to work his way a little closer. He's coming down that track. I mean, there's no sense rushing the shot. Hopefully we can get him in a little bit closer. Well, he's about 120 yards from us. He just keeps facing us, so I mean, javelina aren't a very wide animal. Gonna wait for a good broadside shot, want to make an ethical kill on him, so just gonna hold out. Got lots of time. Well, I got my very first javelina ever. Looks like a really nice male. I tell you, that 270, 140 grain trophy bonded tip, down he went. That was awesome. Like I said earlier, he was facing me. I didn't want to take that shot. You never know. I mean, it's a little bit windy out there today. You want to be precise on these animals. I mean, now I don't have to go chase him in the thorn bush. He's laying right there. So this is so cool. Look at that. Isn't that something? I can't get over it. Look at those teeth. Boy, they would lay you open. Those are razor sharp. Collared peccary, or what commonly known as a javelina. Bristly fur. That is a cool animal. First time. Wow. That is pretty special. I mean, I've always wanted to hunt one of these. I didn't realize how small they were. I mean, they've got tiny little feet. But man, this is pretty cool.
This has been a Thunder Boys production.